Hey guys, welcome back. Jordan here with the Nutty Gnome Homestead. Today is February 29th, 2024, and we're out here in our greenhouse getting ready to chit some of our seed potatoes. Now, chitting is just simply getting your potatoes to sprout. You can go ahead and put the potato in the ground without sprouting it. It'll still grow. It just take a couple extra weeks to get going. Essentially, we're just going to give our potatoes plants a head start. That's all we're trying to do today. This doesn't take real long, but you got to do a little bit of planning. We know for us around here in zone 6B, 7A, I think we just got changed here recently. It takes us about 4 to 6 weeks to get our potatoes chitted and ready to go. We like to get our potatoes in the ground around Easter. That's typically whenever we try to do ours here in southern Illinois. So we're going to get you guys turned around here in a minute, and I'm going to show you this entire process. All right, so here are some of our seed potatoes that we picked up. We've got our Pontiac Red, Kennebec, Yukon Gold. So as you guys can see, some of these are already starting to put on these little eyes. That's all we're trying to encourage. We want these eyes to be about 2 inches long, bright green and stubby whenever we put them in the ground. We don't want the real long, wispy potato shoots coming off there, because that makes for a weaker plant. This one over here, as you guys can see, we've got a lot of eyes starting on it. This is going to go ahead and start sprouting just in a couple of days, guys. And we're going to have plenty of options whenever we go to cut these up here in a couple of weeks. Now, like I said, this will only take about 4 to 6 weeks, so you want to check out your last frost date and go from there. Once we get these potatoes out of cold storage, whether you keep them in a root cellar, you keep them in a cool room in your house, or even if you buy your own seed potatoes, once you take them out of that cool storage, put them in a light, warm environment, they're going to start sprouting almost immediately. That's what potatoes do. Oftentimes, you can even find potatoes from the store that you forgot in your pantry. They'll even start sprouting on their own. You can plant those as well, guys. There's nothing going to be wrong with that. So, whenever we get these out, a lot of these potatoes are a lot bigger than I like, but you got to deal with it because that's what they had when I went to go buy them. So, but on the other hand, that's going to give us plenty of options whenever we cut these potatoes up to plant them. You can plant these potatoes way before your last frost date if you want. I don't recommend it because I like to have my soil a little warmer. If you let them sit there too long in the cold, damp soil, they could rot. But you can fudge the plant date just a little bit if you want to. 2 weeks or so, get these potatoes in the ground. They're going to be protected by the soil. Even if you do end up having a late frost, you're not going to kill your potatoes because the sprouts are only about 2 inches tall when you put them in the ground. They're already going to be covered up with soil, so they're going to still be protected. So I'm going to turn you guys around here, and we're going to show you how we do this. Guys, this is crazy simple. I really don't know how else to describe it. You take your seed potato, you put it in a 10 by 20 tray. If you got eyes on it, make sure those are pointing up. Check these out. Got some eyes there. Got a big eye right here. You know, just kind of try to find the middle if you can. Get the most eyes pointing up that you can. And just line up your 10 by 20 trays. You can do this in an egg carton, one of those 30-pack egg cartons. You can do this in a cardboard box. You can do it in a tote. You can even lay these out on the floor and they will still sprout the same way if you provided a warm environment with indirect sunlight. These guys are going to sprout. Okay, so that literally only took me about a minute to put 10 pounds of potatoes in this 10 by 20 tray. And as you can see, we have most of the eyes orientated up. We want them to grow up. We want them not to have to search for the light. We want them to be green and stubby and healthy little potato plants. You can plant this whole potato if you want. There is nothing wrong with it. This is about the size of a duck egg, for reference, about 2.5 inches or so in diameter. Or, like what we like to do, is we like to get the most for our money. We'll cut this into 2 pieces and get 2 potato plants out of it. But when we do that, we want to make sure that we have healthy eyes turned into green sprouts. So if I can get 3 or 4 of these green sprouts on both ends of this plant, that's going to give me plenty of options to choose the healthiest plant when I go to plant these in a few weeks. Now, I got some that we have already started. All we're going to do is we're going to take this 10 by 20 tray and we're going to set it on the south side of our greenhouse on the floor. It's going to be underneath the table. It's not going to be in direct sunlight, but it's going to be warm and it's going to be in indirect light. These guys are going to start sprouting in just a couple of days, actually. These guys have already got a pretty good head start. But let me show you what these will look like in just a couple of days. Here we have a Yukon Gold. And as you can see, we got about a 1-inch stubby growth on here. This little piece has another one. All these little guys are starting to sprout real nice. And I just have this in one of these 30-pack egg cartons. This works out real well for this. Each potato gets its own little slot. And as you can see, they're all putting on pretty nice little green sprouts. They're not getting long and lanky. They're going to be perfect for whenever we go to plant these here in a couple of weeks. We're going to have plenty of options to cut all these potatoes in half. Some of them we can probably get 3 out of. And this is really going to make your dollar stretch. Even though potatoes are cheap right now, something could happen and you just never know. Alright, I'm filling up the tray of Yukon Gold. Essentially, guys, you're just playing Tetris with these potatoes, making sure the eyes that are already starting to sprout are pointed up. If it has more eyes on one side, point that side up. Nice big potato. It really is this simple to grow your own food, guys. So we have 10, 20, 30 pounds of seed potatoes that we just got started to sprout. And these are some that we started earlier, a couple weeks ago, week and a half ago, I guess. Now, if you don't have a lot of ground to plant potatoes, for instance, you have a small garden or you live in town and you don't have a spot where you can actually grow, you can grow these in buckets. You can grow them in feed sacks. I've grown them in feed sacks made out of the same material that dog foods come in. So you can grow these in just about anything. 5-gallon buckets, mineral tubs, feed sacks, cardboard box. You can grow these in just about anything that'll hold soil for 100 days. That's all it takes to grow your own potatoes, guys. 95 to 100 days for most of these varieties that we have here. The Yukon Gold, the Kennebec, and the Pontiac Red will be producing nice, healthy crop of potatoes in 3 months. It really doesn't get any simpler than that, guys. These are going to be your energy crops. If the world goes to heck in a handbasket, at least you'll be able to provide for your own family or have something to trade. So if you guys have any questions on green sprouting potatoes, chitting potatoes, as it's known, feel free to contact us down at Nutty Gnome Homestead on Facebook, or you can even leave a message down below. We'd be happy to help you if you have any questions. If you guys have any suggestions for future videos, please let us know. Till next time, get out there and chit your potatoes, guys. Spring is right around the corner.